obtaining more blueprints to build more stuff?
Yeah, great question. So you get the blueprints as you progress through the game. So you start off with a limited amount of blueprints and recipes, and as you go through the game and discover new materials, you'll get more recipes. It's one thing that we are currently iterating on, and it's something that we'd love people's feedback on.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhode Island.
Hi, my name is Glenn Morris. I live here.
Hi, Glenn.
So I have never missed an Obsidian panel at a PAX East. My question is actually about Microsoft. After the acquisition, I think a lot of people from the player side thought, sigh of relief, financial security. But here you're talking about arachnophobia research database. I'm wondering what were some of the things after the acquisition that people never thought to ask and then said, we have access to what?
Yeah, so Microsoft's been a great partner. So we actually started working on this game before the acquisition. But once we got acquired, yeah, it opened up a lot of doors for us, similar to the arachnophobia mode that you mentioned. I think having access to the accessibility lab as well, and getting input on how to make the game more accessible is great. We want to make sure that the game can be played by everyone. So hearing their input and their feedback, and then also the user research lab, like getting a lot of play testing, which is really important for onboarding players. Having access to that and being able to participate in that program has been great to iterate over the early game, and making sure that first like 10 to 15 minutes is really strong.
Thank you. Quick question from chat. Let's see, where is it? Brandon 456076. Will there be a robust weather system?
So weather right now is not currently in the game. It's one thing that I personally would love to see, because I think like rain, for example, would be a really, really cool thing to have. Just because I have no idea how it's going to work. But I think that's something that is on the table for post-release once we're out in early access. And that's something that, if you have ideas for features that you think would fit well with the game or you think would be cool, bring it up, and we definitely are listening.
Thank you. Hi there. Next question. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi there. My name's Mike. I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Right on.
I kind of had like two-ish design questions. The first one is like, it's a weird question, but where exactly would this take place? Is this going to be like in a child's backyard, like in like a random park, kind of like woodsy kind of thing? And like, how does that inform the type of like real-world objects you'll see in the wild and could interact with?
It does take place in a backyard,
Okay.
and we definitely wanted to have a wide variety of things that were more than just plants, because as cool as it is being small, like eventually you're going to get tired of just looking at the same green over and over again. And so we have studied the backyard with a number of unique features. I don't know that we are ready to talk about any specifics with that, but there's definitely a lot to find out there. We wanted to make it an interesting place.
Yeah, and one thing that we, just in general at Obsidian, we like try to give reasons for everything that we put in the game. Yeah. And that's one thing that there's a reason for why all this stuff is in the yard. So, and you'll find that out when you play through the story.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next question. Hi there.
Hi, name's Henry. I'm from the DC area.
Welcome.
Thank you. So you mentioned that there were helpful bugs. Is there any ability to like farm or corral them? Like, could I start an aphid farm so that I don't have to go hunting for food?
That is something that it's been on our list of things that we've wanted to explore. Everyone on the team always goes, yeah, I want to do an aphid farm, potentially want to tame the bugs, pet the bugs, make them my friend.
Ant rodeo.
Yeah, we've been even tossing around like, well, can we use, like, they like to steal your meat. Can we use the meat to make the ants your friends? Like that, currently we haven't done that yet, but these are all the kinds of things that are just extra ideas that have been stewing in our head. We've heard a lot of feedback when we first announced at XO about stuff like that too, so we know it's definitely something that the fans are looking for, so we're going to be putting it into our roadmap.
Cool.
Thank you. From the Twitch chat, IG_ asks, does the grass/plant regrow?
Yeah, so that's one awesome thing about this game is that things can regrow and it feels okay. So grass will regrow over time, and mushrooms will spawn back, and there's other things that will, change over time as you play the game.
All right, next question. Hi there.
Hey, I'm Matt from near the DC area as well.
Hello.
And I was just wondering we got to see a lot of gameplay, but I was wondering if you could speak to what the sound's going to be like. What kind of, do you want to have music? Or am I going to be walking around? Is it going to be a Minecraft feel, Dark Souls? Like the rain thing is a really cool thing that we were talking about with the weather. How do you plan on incorporating sound into your small world?
So Justin Bell, who's our audio director, and he's worked on pretty much, a lot of our titles, Pillars 1 and 2, and Outer Worlds. He's currently composing music for the game, so we do have a music soundtrack. It's more ambient, in just because since we are building an open world game, and you're going to be spending a lot of time in this environment. We do want to take inspiration from the time period as well, so there's a little bit of late 80s, early 90s flair to the music. In terms of audio design, we are, we want to make, you can't really understand what a creature is going to sound like, so we want to take some liberties in the creative decision making on audio design, and we want to make sure that they feel appropriate for what you think they should sound like, if that makes sense.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next question.
Hi guys, I'm Aiden from Boston. You guys keep talking about the story. Does that mean there's an end game?
Yeah, so we're actually not saying a whole lot about the story. There is a story, right? And yeah, eventually the game will end. When we launch in-game preview and early access, we will have some story, but it won't be, it won't be complete at that time. And we want to develop the storyline as we work on the game through the game preview early access process. So there will be an ending that you can complete the game, but there's a lot of stuff that we're not, showing and talking about intentionally about the story, just because we want it to be a surprise for players.
All right, sweet, thank you.
All right, from the Twitch chat, hello Twitch again. What can we expect for the in-game community interaction? I don't know what they mean, so let's answer the best we can.
I guess for some, you can communicate with each other through a chat wheel, similar to other games. So we do have a chat wheel. We have emotes that you can, give a thumbs up to your friend. So there are ways of communicating without having to type in or do voice over IP.
All right, next question. Hi there.
Hi there, I'm Logan from the Cape. My question is about crossplay. Is there any initiative to have there be crossplay between the different platforms?
Yeah. Yeah, so we are, our intention is to have crossplay day one on the game, so.
Thank you.
Next question.
Hi, my name's Solomon. I'm from Framingham, Massachusetts, and I was wondering how did you go about optimizing the game when there's so many insect interactions going on in the background?
I'll take this one. This was a pretty challenging problem for us. So we had a bunch of creatures in the yard, and as we started to add more and more, we had that problem where, all right, the game's starting to slow down once we add 100 more characters or insects. So we had to devise a system that we wanted the entire yard to be simulated. We wanted the entire yard to be doing something so that even when you're on this corner of the yard, that anthill over here is still completely operating. So we devised a system where when they get far enough out of the player's range, we turn off a lot of the stuff that is heavy for the characters, so a lot of the animations, the models. They're running a lot of their similar AI. Brian McIntosh kind of helped design a lot of that too, where there's a pretty neat debug mode that you can't see in here, but you can fly way above the yard and turn on debug, and you can just see like these little polygons of everything just moving around and picking up stuff and saying, I want to go to sleep, or I'm going to go steal this piece of food. It's quite impressive and pretty neat to look at.
Cool, thank you.
New meaning to debug mode, right?
Yes.
Interesting. Next question.
What kind of interaction will there be with other parts of the ecosystem of the backyard? Like birds eat insects, would there be any expectation of seeing them possibly?
Yeah, right now it's mainly like insect on insect ecosystem. So if spiders will hunt, and if you start killing all what they usually hunt, like then they'll have to go somewhere else. So that's kind of what we're looking at for launch. We want to be able to expand on that as much as possible. We got all like the framework done, and we're looking at ways of expanding that for the future.
Thank you.
We had a question from the Twitch chat about weapon durability. Is that something you guys are working on?
Yeah, so we do have weapon durability. I mean, it's the durability is pretty, I guess, you won't really notice it. It's not like a super fast durability, or in terms of, the strength of the weapon will eventually degrade over time and then break, and then you have to repair it. And same thing with armor.
And this also is why you'd want to like craft some of the, like the tier 2 items. Like the ant club will have much more durability than a sprig with fiber and a rock, for example.
Hello there. What's your question?
Hey, Brian from New Jersey. So about that arachnophobia mode where you can kind of tone it down to help people who are scared of spiders, is that more server side where everyone who's playing together now has to see it that way? Or if I'm playing with someone who wants to have that turned on, but I want to see the game at its basic with everything turned off, can I do that as well?
Yeah, it's client side, so you can do it on a per person basis. And it is surface mode or surface level, so it doesn't affect the way the spider plays. We still want the spider to be a challenging monster in the game, even if you are playing on arachnophobia mode. And we really want to evoke like the sense of danger that comes with fighting a giant monster just without triggering somebody's phobia.
We got a question from the chat. I don't even think this is possible, but they said, what will happen to the ecosystem if they wipe out all the spiders?
Yeah, who knows? Everything will go, all the insects will just go crazy. There's no spiders in the world. I have no idea.
The neighbors have spiders too. They'll come.
It's always the neighbors. We have a question here. Hi there. What's your name?
Hey, my name's David, and my question is, you said there's going to be a story. You said there's exploration and progress. Would anything be story locked? Or would you basically be able to do anything or go anywhere with enough exploration and preparation?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the way that we're looking at the world design is we're taking some inspiration from like Metroidvania games. So you'll have to be able to craft certain, things in the world to be able to progress into different areas. One of the examples I think Sean's going to talk about, because I'm pretty sure I know what he's going to say.
Maybe. So one of the things that we come across sometimes is if there's an area that's up high and requires some, difficult to traverse method to get to, people have raised the concern, well, what if somebody just builds stairs up there? And personally, I think that's great. We want to allow the player to overcome these challenges however they feel it best. And I think that giving the players the tools to solve whatever problem they need to solve, I think is a more interesting way to do it than artificially gating things.
Yeah, we call it like soft gates. But one of the examples is, like the gas mask that we showed off. You have to equip that to get through the haze area. So there's a bit of that, but we want the player to be able to kind of solve these problems in different ways as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. So which really, one of the questions in the chat will be the different kinds of areas like biomes. And you kind of alluded to something like that, right?
Yeah, we have a lot of different areas in the yard. So we want to, having just an area of grass is only interesting for so long. So we have a bunch of different, like, even in the grasslands, we have a flooded area where there's a sprinkler that's cracked and has flooded a big portion of that, of the yard. And, different creatures will call that home.
Okay. Hi there.
Hi, Mark from Ottawa.
Hi, Mark.
Tunneling. There seems to be a lot of tunnels. Any tunneling that can be made up by the players, or like digging, or
Like terraforming.
Terraforming.
Currently, we don't have any terraforming. We do have a shovel tool, but it at that scale, you'd have to move a lot of earth. So we don't have any terraforming yet, but like Adam and Robbie said, this is still early in the process, and we will take any ideas from the community.
And
Thank you.
how high can you build?
Yeah. Right now, we do have some limitations on how high you can build, and it's dictated by like how strong of materials that you're using to build. So depending on the materials that you use for your walls, you can build higher structures.
Couple more questions, then we're going to wrap it up. Hi, what's your name?
Name's Steven. I'm from Rhode Island. I imagine the world, knowing you guys, is pretty good size. Is there going to be other ways to traverse the world other than walking? Like maybe like we can craft stuff that can make us move faster?
Yeah, we do have a couple ways of moving faster throughout the world. There are items that you can craft to do that, and eventually, it's not right now, but something that I would love to have in the game is riding insects. I know that makes the team sad because they have to do it, but I'm like, I want that. So it's something that we might have in the future for quick traversal.
All right, two more questions. We're going to wrap it up. Go ahead. What's your name?
Jacob from Boston. And so in co-op games, sometimes when you take on enemies, you can just surround the enemy with your team and just hack them to death, and it takes away that sense of accomplishment. Do you guys have plans to scale the difficulty and rewards based upon how many players are in your game?
Yeah, that's a great question because we just fixed that problem like this week.
Sweet.
So we do have scaling for multiplayer, and the way that we're handling that is depending on, we have like I guess you could call it like an aura around insects, and depending on how many players are in that aura, the insect stats will be increased, so it's more of a challenge. And that is on an insect per insect basis. So some insects, like we really want it, like 3-hit combo will kill that insect. So we don't want scaling on some of the smaller insects in the world. So we are adjusting that and seeing how it feels. But we are working on that pretty much right now back in Irvine.
Yeah, the reason we didn't want to do like a global scaling across the board, like, oh, there's 3 players, so everything is like this, is a lot of times in survival games, players will break up, and we didn't necessarily want them to be punished because one player's over here by himself, and he's fighting, scaled creatures because there's 3 other people in the game.
Yeah, excellent, thank you.
All right, last question, and then we'll wrap it up. Hi there.
Hello, I'm Nick from Boston. I was curious about for the online co-op. Is it like going to be hosted like through like one person and the other 3 can't play like unless if the one person's online? Is it like separate servers? Is there like a distance limit on the players on like how far away they can be from each other? Things like that.
All